Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we're talking about the Milwaukee M18 Fuel Surge impact driver. If you don't know what that means, it pretty much means this is a hydraulic driven impact driver, one of our more favorite impact drivers or go-tos. It works a little bit differently than standard impact drivers. Anyways, long story short, we're gonna go over this tool top to bottom, put it on test track and see how it stands up against some of the other ones, which actually is interesting, so stay tuned. Alright you guys, so this right here is a Milwaukee M18 Fuel Surge brushless, technically, impact driver. It is model number 2760-20, which is the tool. If you buy it as a kit with 5 O's, it's a -22. If you buy it as a kit with 2 compact batteries, it's, I believe, it's like -22 CT, I believe. Anyways, long story short, this one here is different than the other impact driver because it doesn't have a hammer and anvil working together. It's actually hydraulically driven. And there's a few pros and cons of that kind of stuff. Most of the pros out there, at least in marketing hype, really tells you it's fluid driven, provides, you know, less noise, and it also provides more what's it called, torque, or sustained torque under load, right? So I don't know how true that stuff really is or how that stuff really relates. What's important to most people, or at least to me, I would say, is the power that it really delivers to get the job done, okay? All the marketing hype, you know, we always get into it, but you know, it's just marketing hype. So anyways, without too much further ado, let's get into the marketing hype and then we'll bring you in closer and take a better look at it. So this right here is a Milwaukee M18 Fuel Surge 1/4-inch Hex Hydraulic Impact Driver. It is the fastest, quietest fastening solution on the market. With Milwaukee's new FLUID-DRIVE technology, users will experience up to 50% quieter operation, 3 times less vibration and smoother operation compared to other standard impacts on the market. It has a POWERSTATE Brushless Motor that delivers up to 3,000 RPMs with constant power output to drive screws faster. All the standard REDLINK lithium stuff. It's got, you know, the 4-mode drive control and all that kind of fun stuff. But long story short, it really comes down to it being a hydraulic impact driver, okay? So while we're on the marketing hype, I'm gonna go over some of the other stuff that is not necessarily on the marketing hype. If you look at the Milwaukee page and almost any of the authorized tool reseller pages, there is no claims to its IPM or torque rating. So if you do a little bit of Googling around and that kind of fun stuff, there's some unconfirmed sources that says it delivers up to 4,000 IPM and up to 450 inch-pounds of torque. That is right, I said 450 inch-pounds, 3 digits, okay? So this right here is left-hand part of the tool. Pretty standard stuff. You're using Milwaukee impact driver. That's exactly what this feels like. Black stuff here, rubber overmolded. The only thing different on here is that this front part here, where the hydraulic driven system is, has a rubberized or siliconized shell, I guess you could call it. Helps absorb some of the impact and that kind of stuff. Other than that, on the side here, you got a belt clip here that you can swap out to this other side if you wanted to. This side has a bit holder, but you can interchange the two if you did want, okay? And I put a 3.0 on here mainly because to show you, you can fit nowadays on the ones you currently buy as of right now. The belt clip does stick out wider such that it can accommodate that high output batteries. Some of the really earlier models, I guess, the ones that came out before the high output batteries came out, you couldn't really do that because the belt clips were not extended out for that, which pretty much means Milwaukee did not know they were going to make the high output batteries with, you know, that size when they built these drivers. Anyways, long story short, on this side, pretty standard. You got forward reverse switch here. On the back side, it pretty much says, you know, fuel brushless as you would expect. It's got a little lanyard clipping system here. On the right hand side, a little bit of dirt, clay, forward reverse switch right there, exact same as the other side as you would expect. And like I said, a belt clip system there. Let's move around to the front side here. Front side controls. It's got 1, 2, 3. 3 is the highest power. It's got a self-drive mode for self-driving screws. I tell you on almost all the impact driver videos, I do not have a lot of good luck with this, especially if you're dealing with, you know, light commercial framing where you're using mostly metal studs or steel studs, or even residential framing, you can use some of that, but it's not a lot of residential framing is done with steel studs, at least not around this area. Anyways, long story short, 1, 2, 3 settings that really get that one going. There is a little LED light here. I believe they say it's bright, but you know, it generally is bright as most LED lights, and has a variable speed trigger here, okay? We'll go ahead and show you some of the variable speed trigger. This is on mode 3. All right, we'll drop it to mode 1. So that's what's really going on there. So let's take a look at the front here. On the front, it's pretty much standard, right? If you didn't know such thing as hydraulic impact drivers, just looking at it, you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But this part right here is a little bit grayish, brownish, that if you want to call it that. It's rubberized, like I said, a silicone molding system that they really got going on here. So let's talk about this collet here. This is a pretty standard, you know, half-inch collet Makita drive system, as you just saw there. It is a quick insert collet, meaning you can put insert pretty quickly, but it does take, you know, you do have to pull it out, and it does pull the collet upwards in order to eject the bit. It is not a self-eject system, but the input collet or insert system is pretty nice. All right, you guys, hope y'all caught some of those numbers because those numbers went by not too fast, okay? So let's go take a look at numbers. I'm just gonna go ahead and say, we're just gonna go through all the numbers for all the batteries, then we're gonna go ahead and see how it really stacks up, all right? So this 2760 impact driver with this 3.0 kit on the light duty 8-inch Timberlock test. First run 6.60, second run 5.88, third run 6.13. Taking after 3 runs comes in at 6.20 seconds, okay? Moving on to the medium duty lag test, 5/16 by 6 inch. First run 7.78, second run 6.18, third run 6.23. Taking after 3 runs comes in at 6.73. Moving on to the 1/2 inch by 8 inch lag test. All 3 of the tests, it was not able to drive the lag all the way into the materials, giving it an average of did not finish, okay? It just wasn't able to do it, all right? This impact driver and this battery combination weighs in at a whopping 3 pounds, 10.8 ounces, okay? So moving on to this impact driver and the 5.0 battery test, right? You would think that with the 5.0, it's gonna deliver more power. Let's see, all right? First run, 6.73, second run, 6.25, third run, 6.38. Taking an average of 30 runs comes in at 6.45 seconds, all right? Moving on to the 5/16 by 6 inch lag test, medium duty, 6.38, second run, 6.57, third run, 6.92. Taking an average of the 30 runs comes in at 6.62 seconds. And on the 1/2 inch by 8 inch lag heavy duty test, right? First run, second run, third run, it just wasn't able to do it. Even with the 5.0, that it was not able to deliver the power or torque to make that happen, all right? So this battery and tool combination comes in weighing at a whopping 3 pounds, 15 ounces. For those people trying to figure out what that ounces really conveys to, that's pretty much 4 pounds, all right? 16 ounces is about a pound, I believe. So moving on to, you know, the XC High Output 8.0. Most people are going to be thinking, okay, it's going to be able to get it done with the XC 8.0. Let's go take a look. First run on the 8-inch Timberlock test, 6.18, second run 6.17, third run 6.47. Taking an average of 3 runs comes in at 6.27 seconds, all right? Moving on to the 5/16 by 6 inch medium duty lag test. First run 6.90, second run 7.67, third run 9.00. Taking an average of 3 runs comes in at 7.86 seconds, all right? And this impact driver with this 8.0 battery still was not able to drive the 1/2 inch by 8 inch lag all the way into the material, giving the heavy duty part of the test to a did not finish score, okay? And this impact driver with the 8.0 high output battery comes in weighing at a whopping 4 pounds, 11.6 ounces, all right? So just to go ahead and tell you that we, you know, to make sure that there was nothing wrong with the test, we went ahead on some of them where it wasn't able to drive the 1/2 inch lag bolt all the way in. We literally stopped it. We ran over and got the third, was it 2853, which I believe is the third Gen 3 fuel Milwaukee impact driver. Took the bit off of that, put it in, and drove it, you know, a little bit further in because it was able to drive it pretty easily. Took the bit out, put it in here, tried to continue driving, it just wasn't able to do it, right? Therefore, going off to show you, you know, pretty much an issue with the impact driver itself, all right? Not necessarily the material or the test. So, where does that put all of these impact drivers, okay? So the way that we get this is pretty much taking average of the 3 scores, or average of the 3, or sum of the 3 averages. And in this case, this impact driver was not able to deliver on the 1/2 inch lag test. So all 3 of these combinations with this impact driver is currently going to be in last place behind the Bosch IDH 182 Freak, which is the one we did the episode right before this one on the impact driver series, okay? So that's mainly due to the heavier duty lag test, right? So what can we say? Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the numbers because there's some idiosyncrasies there, right? If you look at it, on the 8-inch Timberlock test, the average with the 3.0 was 6.2, and average with the 5.0 was 6.47, and then the average with the 8.0 was 6.27. So, you know, it's all, you know, we're talking about like less than a second here, so within the margin of error, let's say. On the 5/16 by 6 inch lag test, we had, you know, 6.73 and then 6.62 with the 5.0, and then 7.86. I don't really know what's going on there. Maybe it's an issue with the materials, or maybe the higher batteries was just able to push more power to it, therefore heating it up faster, just degrading the performance, right? We're gonna talk about that in just a second, okay? Anyways, so what can we say about this impact driver, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these specs and try to explain what's going on, right? So this impact driver has an RPM rating maximum of up to about 3,000. IPM rating, it's not really marketed that heavily anywhere, but if you Google around, there's some alleged unconfirmed IPM ratings of about 4,000 IPMs, which is pretty high, not as high as the Gen 3 fuel, right? But what really matters here is the torque that is delivered. So the lowest torque rated impact driver that we've tested so far up to this episode in the series is the Makita XDT14. That one had an impact torque delivery rating of 1,550 inch-pounds, okay? That's 4 digits, all right? This impact driver, the Surge M18 Fuel, is only able to deliver an alleged maximum of 450 inch-pounds. That's right, 450. I'm talking about 3 digits here, okay? 450, and I believe that's exactly why the results came in where it did. So it takes more than 450 inch-pounds to drive a 1/2 inch lag bolt by 8 inch lag bolt into the framing lumber, or the glulam, if you want to call it that, if you wanted to, right? So let's talk about that for just a little bit, right? So if you've been following the channel, you look at some of the videos, you know we also had another series about the best drills, right? And we did pretty much exactly the same test, and this is kind of why we did set up the test in the way that we did, so we can kind of compare it, right? So if you look at the 1/2 inch by 8 inch lag test, it looks like it needs somewhere around, I would say, maybe around 290 to 300-ish inch-pounds of torque in order to deliver the power to drive the 1/2 inch by 8 inch lag bolt, right? Because if you look at the XPH07, it had a maximum peak average an average of 290 inch-pounds of torque to drive that 1/2 inch by 8 inch leg into the lumber, right? And it was able to do it in roughly around 7.88 seconds, right? The current first place runner right now on the best drill driver combination or series was the GPH01, and that one had to deliver 339.67 inch-pounds of torque on average across 3 runs to drive that 8 inch 1/2 inch by 8 inch lag bolt in, right? So if this impact driver delivers an alleged 450 inch-pounds, then it should be able to do that, right? And because it can't, I'm actually I don't know if I can really believe that this delivers 450 inch-pounds. We can probably set up another series of tests to figure that out. But because of the results that we currently have on the drill driver test, we can say, I'm not sure if this is delivering 450. So we'll set up a test sometime in the future to figure that out. Anyways, long story short, what can we say about this? We use this a lot, right? We don't use this during a lot of heavy duty stuff, right? Especially if you have to drive like lag bolts and stuff like that, as you can kind of already see why. The main reason we use this is mainly because it's light. If you use it with a high output CP 3.0, it's fairly small and lightweight, right? And it delivers enough power in order to get the jobs done, right? Most people are going to be doing things, you know, like SPACs, GRKs, timber locks, deck screws and stuff like that. You don't really need all that loudness with the standard hammer anvil impact driver to do all that stuff, right? You can, there's nothing wrong with that, don't get me wrong, you can do that. But most people doing, you know, bigger lags or bigger fasteners like 1/2 inch by 8 inch lags are going to be using impact or wrenches anyways, or they're just going to be pre-drilling that stuff and using it, right? So there's a place for it, right? If you're indoors, it's probably a good place, you know, to use something like this. If you do want to see how it stacks up against some of the other ones, you can just look at the numbers on the screen and you can say, okay, well, if you're just looking at the 8 inch timber lock test, right, taking the average of around 6 seconds, right, it's still faster than the Boss IDH 182, right, but it's still slower than the Makita XDT14, right? Or if you want to compare it to the Gen 3 Fuel Milwaukee impact driver, that one will get it in roughly around 3 or 4 seconds, right? So it's almost 2 times slower by that matter, right? So anyways, hopefully that's just going to help somebody out and kind of shows you a place for doing something like this. We did a couple hours between each battery test. That way it's not just it's heating up all the way through. The main reason I'm stating that is because if you use the Surge on a hot day and you're just driving a lot of screws, right, like you're putting a walkway or something like that, or a deck, it will heat up. And the big thing about the Surge or the oil-driven impact drivers is the more it heats up, the less power it delivers, okay? That's just something I've noticed from using it quite a bit. So a lot of times we'll just start with this and then we'll swap over to using something else, right? But that's just an issue with that, right? But you're not always driving bam, 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 bam. If you are, then this is not gonna be for you. Anyways, long story short, what can we say about this? That's what we can say. We did go out and buy this. Nobody sent this to us. This is not sponsored. We have been using, I think, about 2 of these, rotating them around quite a bit. So it's not a sponsored video. Like I said, that's all that really matters. If there's videos, got any questions or concerns, let me know. Otherwise, hope this video's helped you guys out. Have a great day. Go do some good work and see you guys next time.